situation where you find that a person look like the same.
Not necessarily tribal or regional.
But I have said that.
Right, welcome back to the program. This is still Daybreak on Trust TV. In case you're missing out on the conversation, or you've missed out on the conversation, you can catch up on our social media platforms and our YouTube live stream. So take a look at it today, so you don't have to miss out on any of our contents. But it's time for us to take a look at some of the front pages of some select national dailies this morning to bring you up to speed with the stories that are making the rounds. And we'd like to always start with a look at the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper for today, Thursday, November 16, 2023. And you can see that picture there of the devastation at an IDP camp in Borno. 2 children confirmed killed as fire razes 1,113 houses at Borno IDP camp. And you can never imagine something like this, but the picture tells, the story of what was a tragedy at that camp. More on that on page 4. Below the picture, inflation hits 27.3% as cost of food, others rise. Page 19 has more on Nigeria's debilitating economic situation. And the bottom strip, Nigeria loses 1.3 trillion naira on waivers and concessions, according to the Nigeria Customs Service. Senate wants Port Harcourt Maiduguri rail upgraded to standard gauge. In minority leadership, PDP senators settle for North Central. Senator Wandok from Plateau State has unfortunately lost his seat to the Minister of Labour and Employment, and the PDP is shopping for a new minority leader. But at the very top, after grounding FCT states for 2 days, Labour suspends strike. Yes, more on that on page 4. Israel wants to turn Gaza unlivable city, according to Palestinian envoy. The devastation that is going on there is just, it's unexplainable. For all that the world stands for today, and for this carnage to continue well over a month now, from October 7th to date, it's just, I don't know how best to explain it. But yeah, look at the recent point of view on page 5. Why we deported Nigerian passengers, according to Saudi authorities. And I believe they were trying to say that some of the application modalities were not followed, and the people got the wrong visas or things like that. But take a look at page 6 so you can read up on the recent diplomatic incident. Although not all of these 264 passengers were deported, I think it was around 170 something plus that were deported by the Saudi Arabian authorities. Now let's turn our attention to the front page of the Guardian newspaper for today. The Guardian newspaper for today, Thursday. Currency depreciation, high energy cost, worsen inflation outlook. And there's an infographic breakdown there on the front page of the Guardian newspaper. And it talks about inflation surging, its multi-decade high of 27.3% as monthly growth retreats. And you can see a breakdown there of everything that is going on with the recent figures. Reps demand implementation of 550 billion naira subsidy removal palliative. What is that all about? Take a look at page 3 to find out more. Tackling crashes by trucks, articulated vehicles in Lagos and Ogun. I think there's a news analysis on the pages of the Guardian newspaper. Saudi cites wrong visas, faulty application for deportation. So that's the explanation. NNPCL flags currency crisis as barrier to investment. And also on the front page of the Guardian newspaper, Strengthen EFCC chair to sustain anti-corruption campaign. This is an editorial piece on the Guardian newspaper. And the big one is talking about the NLC TUC suspending their strike action, asking the federal government to reciprocate gesture. Right, up next, we look at the Punch newspaper for today. The front page of the Punch newspaper for today, as always, there's a lot to offer. Lagos, Kogi, Rivers lead as inflation hits 27.3%, one of the highest we've had in over 2 decades. And 177 deported Nigerians violated Saudi Arabia visa rules. This is according to the embassy. I just wonder, I mean, how many people have been deported from Nigeria for having, some of these challenges? As if every other country is trying to do right. Federal government reduces charges against MFLA. Strike stalls arraignment. I don't know whether it's going to continue today because, of course, we're not accessible yesterday. Labour suspends strike. OPS. Stakeholders tackle NLC, TUC. Strike over Ajero assault, abuse of power, says Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Maritime sector loses 20 billion naira. That is the cost for just 48 hours. Imagine if it was not called off. Labour threatens to resume strike. Oh my goodness, I shouldn't have spoken then without reading this one. Labour threatens to resume strike. Insists on demands, says suspension temporary. And I have a picture there of one of the governors, Governor, I think Sheriff Oborivori, if I'm not mistaken, and flanked by the Minister of Information at an event. Labour welcomes Atiku's merger proposal. NNPP gives condition. Okay, it's happening already. Navy arrests 4 stowaways aboard Dubai vessel. Lagos State government dislodges arrest street traders in Oshodi and other areas. All right, let's bring in our guest. Maran Nasir Lawal is joining us virtually today. I don't know whether we've done this before, but it's a good thing. He's in Kaduna. I suppose the strike has something to do with it. Maybe or maybe not. But Maran Nasir, good morning to you. Thank you very much for joining us on the newspaper review.
Good morning. It's good to be here.
Right. I hope Kaduna is treating you well.
Well, Kaduna is okay. I was actually supposed to be in Akwa Ibom for the Guild of Editors Conference, but somehow I couldn't be there. So I am holed up in Kaduna.
Right. Okay. I'm not sure hold up is the right way to put it. But because I get the feeling that you like being in Kaduna at this moment. But if we can just get to the papers this morning. What a devastating incident in Maiduguri to begin with, where we understand that 2 children have died from that fire incident at an IDP camp housing thousands of people, as thousands of their makeshift houses were also burnt. Your immediate reaction to this? I mean, Borno State, over the past couple of weeks, has had to deal with so many fire incidents. This one is just another example of, what could go wrong. What is your initial reaction to this development?
Well, I think it's even a miracle that we ended up with only 2 casualties, so to say, because, an IDP camp with virtually no space, for human movement. There are so many people there. I remember I've been there once. It's in Jere, just outside of Maiduguri. And maybe what I would want to say here is the fact that the governor of Borno State, has been doing quite a lot. So many people will want to belittle it. I saw some people saying, is it possible to have 1,000 houses in an IDP camp? They said maybe it's more of tents and what have you. But as far as I'm concerned, that's like belittling the whole issue. We are talking about people. We are talking about people being displaced, because the fact is so many people consider the IDP camp as their home. They don't have any other place to go to. So whatever happens there is just like you and I who think we are still we are living in our own houses. So it's just like, we having the same reality with them. So want to also talk about the rate of our disaster management. You know, the way we respond to disaster incidents, because so many people said even though the emergency response agencies were like quick to respond to the issue, maybe they could have done a lot better.
Yeah. It appears we're having some sort of challenge with the connection to Man Nasir Lawan. Hope to.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead, Man Nasir.
Yes. So that's what I actually trying to say, because these two children that we lost in this fire incidents, only God knows what they will have, you know, grown up to be, because you don't know the potential of human life. Probably that's, you know, a future president, that's a future chief of army staff or what have you. But it's so sad that we have to lose them to this disaster. Honestly, it's a devastating one, and my heart goes to all those affected, especially the state government as it tries to handle the issue.
Right. Okay. Let's talk about the strike action that was suspended and what led to this new resolution. The National Security Advisor has facilitated the conversation that led to the suspension of the strike. First of all, your thoughts on the 48 hours industrial action across the nation and how this conversation that was facilitated by the NSA led to the suspension of the strike action.
Honestly, I will say the strike was ill-timed. So many people said, you know, the major reason why the labor unions decided to embark on strike was because of the assault on their president. Yes, that is condemnable, no doubt about that. But so many things have been happening to Nigerian workers, and we have not seen the rage from all these, well, so-called labor leaders. But that's not to say that they don't have a right to protest whatever happens to their president. Yes, he's a Nigerian, you know, and all Nigerians are equal before the law. Nobody is supposed to be maltreated. Let's talk about even being assaulted the way he was assaulted, because the pictures that we saw from that incident, actually, you know, they are not good pictures. Even if for the PR part of it, I think that's one thing that the Labour was able to do to score a major goal with. But then you talk about issues of, you know, protecting the interest of Nigerians. Honestly, I don't see how, you know, turning off our electricity, you know, stopping, you know, essential services from being carried out. I don't see how that, you know, also tantamounts to helping the people, because, like you said, even as I speak to you right now, so many people don't have light, and it's because of the problem we had with, you know, the shutting down of part of the grid, like it happened in Kaduna State. So honestly, the Labour should rethink its strategy, so that in the end, rather than suffer the whole of Nigerians, you know, they can target the leaders, be able to do things that the leaders will now understand, the leaders that things that the leaders can act upon, rather than just suffering the whole Nigerians for no reason.
And what do you think about the NSA's contribution? Some people think it's a positive one. Some people say this is rather unusual because this is not usually his domain. I know that it could have a security component to it, the industrial action. But where do you stand on the input of the National Security Advisor?
Well, the fact that he is an official of the federal government, I think it's okay for him to intervene. But so many other people I know will want him to also show the same concern to insecurity, especially in the northern part of, in fact, in the whole of the country. Yes, there is a security implication to what the Labour is doing, because, you know, there are so many people that are jobless, you know, that can latch on a situation like this and they want to foment trouble. But then, if we look at the insecurity that has been, you know, bedeviling so many parts of Nigeria, honestly, so many people want to say that the NSA should also show the same concern, if not even more, so that Nigerians will know that he is actually concerned about his primary responsibility, which is to ensure that we live in a safe environment, without fear of attacks, without fear of molestation, and things from all these criminals.
Okay, Mara Nasra, as much as I would love for us to continue, we are completely out of time. But thank you most kindly for joining us virtually. We do hope next week we get to see you face to face and have a robust conversation about the headlines. But thank you most kindly for
Thank you
joining us.
very much.
Thank you very much
for having me.
And safe travels back to Abuja.